So the next news about the Defense Expo, which is about to be held in Gujarat, and in this Defense Expo, the first time it is going to be held in Gujarat, and it is expected to see around a participant of more than 1,000 companies, and including more than 100 foreign companies, and from 55 countries have sent their confirmation. So about 55 countries are taking participant in this thing, and along with initiatives such as IDEX, which is basically Indian development for the startups. Venture capitalists were being invited to the Expo to identify prospect and project for investment, and also MSME, that is micro, small, and medium enterprises, have been offered 50% discount, and 63 company from Gujarat itself were participant under this Gujarat pavilion. So, and also this is a route for the African countries, because what happened basic previously in Defense Expo to 2020, which was held in Lucknow, and Indian Africa Defense Minister talk were happening, dialogue were happening, and it was held for the first time in Lucknow, and it would continue this year also, and there were greatest interest from the African countries. And one of the basic thing about this thing is about this drone show which is there. So see, questions like drone became important, because as we know that like 2020 one question from drone was asked. So drone became important, although not that important. So here there's this only this company, that is botlab dynamics, which will be doing one show of 1,000 small drones planned at the defense ministry. So this drone was also responsible, this company was also responsible for the beating retreat ceremony. If you are following this news, you have must have seen the 1,000 drones doing wonders at the Rajpath on at the beating retreat ceremony on January 29th. So the bot lab dynamics is the important factor here. Suppose if they just twist around question in prelims, although these things are not that important, but still we have to know this thing. So this is basic the news. So moving on with the news, we will now know the different aspect of the India's defense export. So India has one of the strengths of low cost and high quality production. This is like USP, unique selling point of Indian defense export. So high productivity and low cost. So the government has set an ambitious target to achieve export of like about 35,000 crores. That is basically comes around $5 billion. So government target is to achieve this much uh, by 2025, and the defense ministry has clarified that the names of the major defense items exported cannot be disclosed due to a strategic reason. And to boost indigenous manufacturing, the government has issued two positive indigenous lists, and that has around these lists have around 209 items which would be exported, and that cannot be imported and can only be procured by domestic agencies. So 209 items in Indian defense industry cannot be imported. So this is the thing. And there's this report that is for Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, that is a basically a Swedish think tank, and they have said that three Indian companies figure among the top 100 defense companies in 2020. And who are these three Indian companies? Two of them are HAL and BEL. HAL means Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, and BEL means Bharat Electronics Limited, and the third one is Ordnance Factory. Ordnance Factory Board. So these are among the top 100 defense companies in 2020. So in but still the situation is India is still like a importer in when it comes to basic things in defense. So still the situation is not that much bright, but still we are moving. So while India remained among the top importers, it also includes the top 25 defense exporter. So it also India is in top 25 defense exporter. So both things are there with India. and there was an overall drop in India's arm import between 2011 and 15 and 2016 and 20. So there was this drop, uh, according to this report, which was released in 2020, SIPRI, that is Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. So this was the thing, and there are many things that India export. So the thing which India exports are, India has supplied like different types of missile system, LCA helicopters, and multi-purpose light vehicles, light aircraft warship, and patrol vehicle. These kind of things India have exported, and India is also willing to like export artillery guns, system, tanks, radars, military vehicles. Many things are there, and major part of India export is South Asian countries. Especially Philippines is one of the major part. Philippines and Vietnam, and Asian countries are India major exporters. So basically, in India export to this country, and Vietnam is procuring like 12 fast attack craft, like about which is $100 million credit line announced by India, and it is interested in advanced light helicopter Akash. So this is the basic things which are there. So we have the keyword which have to know that South Asian countries are India's biggest exporter. Suppose a question is being asked around in UPSC, and if some South Asian countries is there, we know that it is the biggest exporter. So I will definitely urge you all to look at the data, because Defense Expo is too much in news during this year. So please have a look at the data from where India is exporting and from where India is taking importing. So there are different steps which has been taken by center to boost production. First one is by licensing relaxation. So measure announced to boost export, and it includes simplified defense industrial licensing and relaxation of export control. And then there we have lines of credit. So specific incentives were introduced under the foreign trade policy, and the Ministry of External Affairs has Ministry of External Affairs has facilitated lines of credit for countries. And also policy boosts have been happening. The Defense Ministry has also issued a draft defense production and export promotion policy. So this is the thing, and the indigenous list is also happening. So on the domestic front, to boost indigenous manufacturing, the government has issued, like I have said earlier, 209 items cannot be imported from outside. So this have to be indigenously based. So the indigenous list thing is there. So also budgetary allocation is happening in addition, and a percentage of capital outlay of different budget has been reserved for domestic industries. So reservation of budget has been happening. So this is the thing basically with the steps which government is taking, and there are also different issues. First one is that we have excess reliance on public sector, and the second one, we all know policy delays are happening, critical technology lack are there, gestation period is so much, and there is also unease in doing business, jurisdiction, lack of quality, FDI policy. These are basic things which is there in India, any industry of India. So that is also happening in the defense export industry. So what is the way forward for us? So for the way forward is to reduce import dependence. So we have to reduce our import dependencies. India was the world's second largest arms importer from 2014 to 18, and ceding the long held tag as the largest importer to Saudi Arabia. And so this is the thing, and we have to like work on our security imperative, because see what is happening is, like indigenization in defense is critical to national security also. It keeps intact the technical expertise and encourage spin-off technologies and innovation that often stem from it. So security imperative is also there. We have to also work upon the economic boost on the defense sector, because indigenization in defense can help create large industry. So economic boost can be there. So also, and we have to work on the employment generation. So because these kind of thing generate a huge employment, because suppose our factory is set up, a defense factory is set up in, suppose in one part of country, so that part of country will be working, so employment generation would be there. So basically how our industry works. So this is the thing. So moving on with the next news. The next news about the depression. A report has been released, and the world is failing to tackle the persistent and increasing serious global crisis of depression. And this report was released by Lancet and World Psychiatric Association. Lancet and World Psychiatric Association WPA, and the Commission on Depression has stated, WPA Commission on Depression, WPACD, and it has estimated that 5% of adults worldwide suffer from depression each year, and it remains a neglected global health crisis. And while in health income countries, high income countries, about half of the people suffer from depression, and middle and the low income countries, about 80 to 90% people suffer from depression. And the COVID-19 pandemic has created an additional challenge with the hardship and the isolation and uncertain beside limited access to healthcare. And because these of due to this kind of thing, the mental health is going down, and investing in reducing the burden of depression will definitely give millions of people the chance to have a healthier, happier life, and also will help in strengthening the national economics and advance the UNSD, that is UN Sustainable Development Goals for 2030, which is in which depression is also a part, mental health is a part. So speaking on the data on the mental health of India, so the top mental illness were depressive disorder and anxiety disorder, we all know, and it about impact about 45.7 million and 47.9 million people. So this is the first one is disorder, depressive disorder, and the second one is anxiety disorder. These two things, and it is affecting this much people. And the contribution of mental health disorder to the totally disability adjusted life delays, because is about 2.5% in 1990 and about 5% in 2020. So in within 30 years it has been doubles. So these are the thing. And the southern states, namely Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra, have a higher prevalence of mental disorder. This is about from different kind of reports which are there. And what are the challenges related to mental health in India? So basically existing public health properties and influence of funding is happening, challenges to delivery of mental health, low number of trained mental health care professional, lack of mental health perspective. And in India, having a mental health disorder is perceived with a sense of judgment and stigma, and taboo is there. So basically this thing is happening because no one wants to talk about mental health. And mental disorder are also considered as being a consequence of lack of willpower or self discipline. So this kind of different kind of taboos are attached to India. So we know in like the multicultural society we are living, so different kind of taboo is there. And also the thing is the stigma associated with mental health as well as the lack of access of affordability and awareness lead to significant gap in treatment. And there is this mental national mental health survey, which said that nearly 80% of those suffering from mental health disorder did not receive any treatment for over a year. So this is a huge number, 80%. And they are fewer according to NMHS. So whenever mental health is there, we have to refer to NMHS, that is National Mental Health Survey. And there are few studies which have measured mental health literacy in Indian context. And one of the study found mental health literacy among adolescents to be very low, and depression was identified by 29%, and schizophrenia and psychosis were recognized by 1.31%. And stigma was noted to be present in help seeking. So if within the help seeking approach, stigma and taboo is there in India, so we have to work upon them. So government is working upon them, and there are different initiative. First one is National Mental Health Program, that is NMHP, and it was launched in way back in 1982 to improve the status of mental health in India. And it has three important components: such as treatment of mental ill, rehabilitation, and prevention. So don't worry, these things will be there when we upload the PDF format in Telegram channel. This is just a cursory look. And the Mental Health Care Act we have in 2017, an act was recognized, and this act repealed the Mental Health Act of 1987, and 1987 act was repealed in this. And the act seeks to ensure the rights of person with mental illness to receive care and to live a life with dignity. And few silent aspect of this act are like this much: central and state mental health authorities, and right to make an advance directive, and right to appoint a nominative representative in case of like every person has the right on his or her behalf to have a person on which all health related decision could be made. And there is also a change in section 309 of Indian Penal Code, and this section basically criminalizes the attempt to commit suicide. And after the enactment of this act, a person who commit a suicide will be presumed as a person suffering from severe stress. So that will not basically criminalize it, basically decriminalization is happening. And after this, accident helpline, a 24/7 toll free helpline was launched by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and they launched this helpline. And this helpline provides supports to people facing anxiety, stress, depression, social thoughts, and other mental health concern. And there is this Manodarpan initiative being launched by government, and it is an initiative launched by Ministry of Education under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. And the initiative basically provides psychological support to students, family members, and teachers, which are basically fighting from mental health during the times of COVID-19. And there is this also Rah app being launched. Rah app is basically, it is a mobile application that provides free information to public on mental health care. And the National Institute of Mental Health and Neuroscience, that is NIMHANS, one of the most prominent institute when it comes to mental health or neuroscience. NIMHANS has compiled a one-stop source online, which can be looked by people. And there is also one app, that is Manas app, which I forgot to mention here. Manas app is also there, which is working on improving the mental health, and it stands for Mental Health and Normalcy Augmentation System. And it is basically a comprehensive national digital well-being platform, and it has been developed to promote the mental well-being of Indian citizens. So this is basically the thing with them. So what are the way forward? Let me discuss the way forward in here also. So first one is, we have to remove the stigma associated with the mental health. First one is thing, we have to talk about it, we have to educate people regarding the mental health thing. And urgent investment should be there. So investment should be there at the national level as well as the state level, so that infrastructure are built on a on removing this kind of mental health. So and also we have to like invest in child and adolescent mental health. So these are the basic thing. First, stigma should be removed, second, educate, and third, investment should be made. And also one fourth which we can say is to make a national plan on which on the parallel line of national healthcare policy. So like this we have to make this one more progressive, or more being working on the ground. Mental health care act, we have to work upon that. So these are the basic way forwards to improve the mental health. And this was for today's news, and thank you so much. And sorry that this news was being covered in two parts. I'll be uploading this the PDF in a single part only on our Telegram channel. Do subscribe to our Telegram channel, have a look on that. Daily current affairs are being uploaded there, and we are working on different things on our institution. So have a look on our website also, or on our YouTube also. So thank you so much.